In a surprise to, well, everyone, Nintendo announced that they will be releasing a remake of Link's Awakening for the Nintendo Switch later this year. This remake required some creative license when it came to its aesthetic due to the fact that, well, the original is a Game Boy game dating all the way back to June of 1993. And if you're a Zelda fan, you know that the existence of a new art style is always a point of contention. People are never happy about it, so I recruited my work wife, Bob Wolf, to talk about how stupid they are because he does doodles or whatever. Also, if I'm going to make Zelda fans mad, I might as well be consistent when I do it.
AJ, stop getting me in trouble with all these Zelda fans. If you keep doing this, we can't hang out anymore.
What? It's not my fault everybody's undying love for Ocarina of Time.
No!
Okay, fine. To be fair, I understand why people that are newer to the Zelda franchise may be upset. Zelda hype cycles are notorious when it comes to the bait and switch in regards to the look and vibe of upcoming Zelda games. Or in this case, intro recreations. If you are coming into a trailer thinking an animation or a poster of some sort will be one-to-one, or at least close to that of the game itself, I can see the confusion. Bob, why don't you give these people a bit of a professional breakdown of the art of this game?
Well, in my professional opinion, you can clearly see that the art style is cute as All right, AJ, back to you.
No, we both know you owe me more than that. You know what you did.
Damn it, fine. Well, this kind of reminds me of the backlash that Wind Waker got when it was revealed at Space World in 2001. Fans were very divided on the cel-shaded look. But it's not just that their Zelda game looked too cartoony, it's because previously to that, Nintendo used Link in a tech demo for the GameCube that at the time looked dope as hell. The graphics were amazing. Naturally, this got Zelda fans excited for a new game on the GameCube with superior graphics. They were expecting realism and instead got cartoony. This is where the disappointment came from. In the case of Link's Awakening, the trailer started out with a dope animated cutscene. It's very dark and serious. Then we're greeted with a colorful title screen with The Legend of Zelda in the Breath of the Wild style, with a similarly painted rendition of the island. Then we're blindsided by this Playmobil-looking world. It's a complete 180 from what we're expecting out of a Zelda title right now. That's not to say that it looks bad. I think it looks amazing. I just think that this is the reason why certain people are disappointed by it. That and they're insecure about liking a kid's game. Man up.
Zelda has always been like this, and that's why I'd argue that it's not really false advertisement. Let's break down this series a little, shall we? This is a series that when you attempt to kill chickens, a magical horde of them hunt you down with bloodlust the likes of which you've never seen before. This is a series that has a recurring character like Tingle, who is a forest fairy obsessed 35-year-old man that lives on rupees and basically cosplays as Link. More specifically, this, being Link's Awakening, is a game that has some especially ridiculous things going on. First of all, I'm not sure if everybody noticed from this trailer or perhaps their playthrough of the 25-plus-year-old original, but there are Chain Chomps, Goombas, Kirby's, Yoshi's, and more in this game. Zelda isn't referenced nearly at all, which calls into question why this game is still deemed to be a Legend of Zelda and not a Legend of Link, but I digress. All of this is the case because, newsflash and potential spoilers if you haven't played one of the various releases or aren't aware of the Japanese title for the game, Link is dreaming. This whole game is a dream. With that in mind, you should know that stuff is bound to be weird. This game is probably the craziest game to be upset about sporting a quirky art style. I'd almost be offended if it didn't have one. I understand that many Nintendo fans crave a more adult looking Nintendo game, but it certainly doesn't fit this franchise. So it might be best for all of us to just get used to it. And that's not the only complaint that people have for this game that we know next to nothing about. People are also complaining about the price, because of course they are. Again, to be fair, it wouldn't be a new Switch game if people didn't somehow tie their personal displeasure for a single aspect of it in in this case the art style, with their expectations for the scope of a game that isn't out yet, and therefore its perceived value. So it should be a surprise to zero people that there seems to be quite a bit of questioning if this game is worth $60. And before I go into any rebuttals, I mean, don't we think it's maybe a bit too early to complain about this game's price? Nintendo themselves didn't even really confirm the price. This is likely coming out closer to holiday, so we won't even know what Nintendo's full plans for this game will be for some time now. And even if we assume the worst case scenario being that this game will be close to a direct port with the only real addition being its divisive visuals, we're in for a fair amount of content when compared to most $60 games like it. For one thing, according to HowLongToBeat.com, the original Game Boy game averages out to be over 10 hours long, almost 20 if you're a completionist. That's enough content in and of itself to warrant a $60 game in today's market. On the subject of its value compared to the original in regards to its price, even when bringing in the fact that if we assume that worst case scenario, we'd still be paying a comparable amount of money when adjusted for inflation. Best case scenario, we'll be looking at new content like reworked or even additional temples, new story beats, more items to streamline the experience, all of the things that we've gotten with past, less drastic Zelda remakes. So I think it's safe to say this isn't even a Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze situation. Using what I assume is very limited information in comparison to what we get in the full game from the reveal trailer, we know that this remake will have more modernizations than just the visuals. The obvious first improvement would have to be the dynamic camera that zooms and pans in and out of the action depending on what's going on screen. There doesn't seem to be the screen-to-screen loading in the overworld that has been pretty common in the top-down Zelda games up until now, and the most notable addition to this game, as pointed out in GameXplain's analysis for it, they seem to be reworking how equipping and using items works, and we know this thanks to the side-scrolling segment in that trailer. You will now be able to have Link's sword, shield, and Rock's feather, the item that makes jumping in Link's Awakening possible, all equipped at once, unlike the original game where there were only 2 buttons to map your items to. And I suspect that's not where the changes will end. That's both because past Zelda remakes, like I alluded to earlier, but also because of the newfound level of success that the franchise has experienced thus far on Switch. I think this game has a lot of expectations internally riding on it, given the fact that yes, it's the next Zelda game following Breath of the Wild, and as such could be another major success off the strength of its critical acclaim and commercial success. And I don't think they're trying to make their efforts to attach this game to that game a secret either. The similar logo to Breath of the Wild can't be a coincidence, especially when we consider the over 30 years of a different precedent. That said, I don't think this game will be as expansive as Breath of the Wild. That just isn't realistic, but I think it's equally as unrealistic to assume a cash grab will follow the success they've seen with their last outing. This game will undoubtedly be bigger than a lot of people seem to think, especially if this is part of their holiday lineup. I personally am excited to see more of this game, and that becomes really apparent when I consider the fact that I tend to prefer the top-down Zelda games to most of the 3D ones. What did you think about Link's Awakening's announcement? Is it a 2019 Switch game you're looking forward to, or are you turned off for one reason or another? Let me know that and more in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, why don't you go ahead and click that like button, it helps a ton. And if you want to watch more videos, it just so happens that we have another one for you. It's all ready today, right now, over on the Wolf Den. Me and Bob talked about Mario Maker 2 because of course we did. But before you go over there, don't forget to click our subscribe button and ring the bell for more videos like this every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. New streams every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. New podcasts every Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Different channel linked in the description. Okay, that's it for me. See you next week.